So we're at the Donegal Highlands Preserve today. We're going to talk about meadows, right? When most people think about what this place looked like before European settlers arrived, this place being this part of Pennsylvania, we don't think about these grasslands, these meadows. We think of mature deciduous forests, right? Oaks and hickories and maples and things like that. But in reality, these open patches, these meadows were really, really common because we had ecological disturbance pre-European settlement. And that disturbance was in the form of large grazers, elk and bison. Yes, there were buffalo here. And fire, really frequent fire. Every 5 to 10 years, we had a wildfire go through here. And what that would do is it would reset the successional clock, right? So if we do nothing to this meadow at all, the seeds from the oaks and the maples and the hickories are going to make their way into this meadow. They're going to sprout, and ultimately, this is going to become a deciduous forest, right? A climax ecosystem, a steady state, theoretical steady state ecosystem. But we had those disturbances that were part of the natural ecology pre-European settlement. Again, big grazers, elk and bison, and fire every 5 to 10 years. And so these meadows became really, really rare because of the lack of disturbance and because they were the first places to get developed into agriculture and then into residential development. So these systems are actually very uncommon. And so we are about to launch a comprehensive ecosystem restoration project here at Donegal Highlands that's going to include a pretty radical restoration of this meadow. And we're basically going to introduce ecological disturbance in the form of mechanized equipment, right? These forestry mowers, this big grinder on the front of a skid steer is going to come in. It's going to start taking out two different things that we got going on here. One is all those young trees that are behind me. That's succession in progress, right? That forest is starting to come back in and take over this meadow. And then we also have a lot of invasive species that are doing the same thing. So all the things that you see with the light green or olive leaves on it behind me are invasive shrubs, bush honeysuckle and Russian olive. And they need to go out as well. So we're going to have this forestry mower that's going to come in, take out not all of those baby trees, but some of them, and all of the invasive shrubs to reset that successional clock to keep this in meadow. So you might ask, why is that important? Why don't we just let nature take its course? Well, this increases biodiversity, right? The way this ecosystem functioned pre-European settlement was we had these disturbances, of course not forestry mowers, they weren't invented yet, but we had bison and fire that would reset that successional clock and keep these patches open. That increases the biodiversity of the region, right? All the different insects and birds and plants and reptiles, snakes and turtles and frogs and all that cool stuff that we love watching, but also that perform critically important ecosystem functions for us, like providing us pollination services and clean air and clean water, all depend on a diverse ecosystem, diverse different kinds of habitats. And so by implementing ecological disturbance here to keep this in meadow, it increases the chances for increased biodiversity on this preserve and on all conservancy preserves.